Hello, my name is Steve Johnson. I race an NHRA Pro Stock Suzuki motorcycle. It goes 0 to 60 in 1 second and goes 200 miles an hour in a quarter of a mile. Last night, we were given the opportunity on Cycle Drag to have a State of the Union address to talk about some of the controversy that's going on in the category. Well, it was brought to my attention that in a State of the Union address, there's no questions. I kept getting questions and it kept taking me off my initiative of trying to communicate with the fan base about our class. So I want to go through its entirety right now real quickly and let you see what I was trying to show you. Now, I'll tell you that there are V-twins that have 160 cubic inches and inline four Suzukis that have 113 cubic inches. The sanction body has come up with rules, as you could imagine, to try to create parity. Now, some of these things I'm going to show you were argued by the V-twin person, Matt Smith, about how unfair it is, and I want to just go across that and let you see from my perspective why it was done. So, here is a set of Suzuki cases. They have a part number, they're from 1985, and this is what we used in a $60,000 Pro Stock engine. It's got a part number, as I said, but you have to do a whole bunch of work to it. It was designed to have 85 horsepower. 85, that's it. Now it has 400 horsepower. So inside these cases is webbing. The crank goes here. The transmission goes here. It's a 5-speed transmission. The crank probably is designed to run about 11,000 RPM. These cases were made to handle 400 horsepower. The problem is they discontinued. They stopped making these cases. So all of us racers had to go to junkyards to go buy cases for our engine. And that wasn't right. Sure, we have to do a lot of work. You have to bore the top for big pistons. You have to work on the lower end in the transmission area for a 6-speed transmission. But at the end of the day, these were available to anybody that wanted them, but you couldn't get them. And we stopped trying to deal with cases that had 50,000 miles on them and at a junkyard. So anybody on the planet could make some cases aftermarket and sell it to anybody. They have to be offered to everybody. And Vance and Hines took the deal. So here's these cases. They're about 8 more pounds than that. But look at this. Look at the gorgeous, these things are strong. Look at the saddles here to hold a crankshaft that now turns 14,000 RPM. Lots of tricks in here that I appreciate and I love, but at the end of the day, this was not an advantage for Suzuki's other than the fact that they are stronger, but they were a need. It was a demand. Our class of Pro Stock motorcycles inside NHRA was going to disappear without these. These are no longer made. These are offered to everybody. That is not an advantage. That is sustainability. Second part, this comes from, as it was stated, I didn't say, but I will now. It was said that the Suzukis out of the clear blue sky are going to get new bodywork, new cases, special fuel, and a new cylinder head. And all of that is an initiative and a narrative to try to get people to say, oh, how unfair it is that the Suzukis get all this stuff and the V-twins don't. And again, with the cases, it's not unfair. It was a necessity. Same as with this bodywork. This bodywork here is a TL1000 Suzuki. It's what we all ran. We even ran GSXRs that were from 1996. This is 2003. Well, Suzuki is in the business of trying to sell brand new motorcycles. This is the Hayabusa. Now, the Hayabusa was made long time ago, 25 years ago, and they're actually celebrating the 25th anniversary of a Hayabusa this year. But this bodywork was made by many people over the years, and it was unstable. It was actually unsafe. The front end would tuck down. It only went 190 miles an hour. It was heavy, and it just wasn't made right. So Suzuki asked anybody and everybody to please make a body, and they would approve it because that's part of the sanction body. Suzuki has to approve the bodywork. So Vance and Hines took the deal, and with some special computer and CAD CAM, and I think it's called computational fluid dynamics. I just learned all that stuff. It's virtually a wind tunnel in computer form. So they designed this body. It's super light. It's all carbon fiber. Now this other AirTech made this. It was beautiful stuff, and it still is great. It's very inexpensive, but it's fiberglass, and it's just not what Suzuki wants to promote to help sell motorcycles on Monday when everybody wants to get excited. So here's the body. Look how wild that is. I mean, it is really wild. It's carbon fiber. It's beautiful. So at the end of the day, yes, NHRA approved this body, but it was not for an advantage for Suzuki's. It was a marketing program. Maybe there was a small advantage there. We don't know if it's aerodynamic because it's never been in the wind tunnel. But at the end of the day, anybody can buy this Suzuki, and Matt Smith, Steve Johnson, the War Team, Chris Bostic, 7 or 8 people had them last year. It was not an advantage to give the Suzukis a marketing program to stand on so Suzuki could sell motorcycles. Now, I'm going to lightly go through the fuel. Fuel was one of the 4 things that they said. They said Vance and Hines created having special fuel. That is not true. Another team contacted Sunoco. They wanted to make some fuel. We were going to make some lightheartedness by, hey, we're going to mix up some fuel and change the colors. And so there was a red fuel that we used to use, and now we're going back to everybody has to use this yellow SR18 fuel. End of the day, will it make a difference? I don't know. We will test it on a dyno, and we'll deal with the aftermath of the fuel change in the next couple of weeks. Now, the last thing is the cylinder head. This is the most controversial of all the pieces. There was words said that the 4-valve was allowed in NHRA competition. Yes, it was approved, finally. Monster made a cylinder head, and it was designed 12 years ago. So when NHRA said, yes, 4 valves can be used, Monster took it off the shelf, sent it to NHRA, and said, please approve our cylinder head. They did. They stamped it. Well, you can go out and make a cylinder head. It has to be approved. There's an approval process. So Vance and Hines made a cylinder head. It's nothing like this one, but it is 4 valves per cylinder. The controversy comes from that cylinder head saying, oh, there's 2 special cylinder heads, and we can't get what you have. That is a false statement and definitely a bad narrative. The difference in the 2 is not really the important part of what I'm saying between a Monster cylinder head and a Vance and Hines. The important part I'm trying to say is the 2 different versions. Yes, there is 2 different versions. One's made for a pro mod or something that's got a turbo or nitrous oxide. And so the cylinder head is heavier. It's got more aluminum in it to handle all the extra horsepower. But the valve angles, the infrastructure of the cylinder head has to follow NHRA's approval. Now, the manifolds on our cylinder head is a rubber manifold. And we use Electron carburetors. And here's the manifold right here. And it comes off. You can change these lengths. You can probably turn them at an angle. You can do all kinds of things. Well, Vance and Hines did the same thing. They had bolt-on manifolds. So they sat on here, and in CAD, they can turn them like this. They can turn them like that. They can make big holes. They can make small holes. They can do a plethora of things. That is legal. If you want to make your own, knock yourself out. But there's no rule that says you have to sell the manifolds. So that whole crying about the cases, that was a need. The bodywork was Suzuki wanting to sell Suzukis. The gasoline was not anything to do with Vance and Hines, even though it did get changed. And the cylinder head, they offer the cylinder head to anybody that wants it. You want the manifold? Make it yourself. Now, the last piece is this crankshaft. This crankshaft was not on the original gripe that the V-twin person had, but the crankshaft is a vital part of what's going on. As I said, it was 85 horsepower when the engine was designed. This represents a stock crankshaft, but the rods are different. The throws are different. It's got a longer stroke. It's got different bearings. Here is what a lot of people don't understand. These rods aren't a plain bearing rod. This is the bearing right here. It's a roller bearing rod, and a cheek is put on top of here, and it's welded. You can see how these are welded right here. You can't service this crankshaft. Let me land the plane for you. This costs $6,000, and the best technology on the planet goes into this from Vance and Hines. Anybody can make a crankshaft. It doesn't have to be approved. Vance and Hines makes it. Some of the people, now Matt Smith complained that his crankshaft wasn't good and they were purposely giving him bad parts. I don't know anything about that. I don't believe Vance and Hines has that integrity to do something like that. But I do believe that this is what you need to have in a pro stock motorcycle. If you don't like it, go make your own. Now, how this all appeals to Steve Johnson is we use a Vance and Hines crankshaft and we use the Vance and Hines cases in 2024. But that's where our team changes from every other team out there. We're going to celebrate our 500th race. No one else in our class has ever said that or has said that to this date. We'll be the first ones. I feel like we have some knowledge. I feel like we have a facility. We have a chassis dyno cell. We have an engine dyno cell. We have a standalone 10,000 square foot shop in Birmingham, Alabama that I'm proud of, that allows me to chase a dream of winning a championship and wake up every single morning to fight and to try to win. That's what this class is about. Stuff is going to break. It costs money, and we understand that. And this will all evolve. I'm sure it will evolve. But we want to evolve our engine, and we're the only ones that run this monster. So if you want to be part of the National Hot Rod Association at the first level in the professional series, the Mission Foods series with NHRA, then look us up. We have great purses. They increased our year-end $50,000. At each race, there's a $37,500 purse. We have a $25,000 specialty race. We get special parking. We get all the advantages of the TV package, and some of it even leads in before an NFL football game. So we have great viewership and a great leadership with National Hot Rod Association. Yes, motorcycle is part of the car organization. So again, hopefully I've educated you that there's no advantage, there's nothing shady. This is the sanctioned body trying to create parity. At the end of the day, I've said it too much. Here is a piston for a V-twin, 160 cubic inches. There's two of them. Here's the piston for an inline four, 113 cubic inches, 47 cubic inches difference. So there's going to be some changes to try to create parity. I hope you've been educated. I hope you see a little bit of my brand. I have a scholarship. Check out stevejohnsonracing.com. My Batman scholarship is on there to engage young people at skilled trades and specifically to be a technician. Have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you at the races. Bye-bye.